Spariamo. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand and join Tracy Pickerel in singing our national anthem. Please be seated. Faculty, students, parents and relatives, distinguished guests and friends of the university, I am delighted to welcome you to the 154th commencement of the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. This year we celebrate the 129th anniversary of the founding at Platteville of the first normal school in the state of Wisconsin, the birth of what has become today's University of Wisconsin-Platteville. During these years, more than 30,000 students have received degrees from this outstanding university. This afternoon, over 500 more degrees will be conferred. Commencement is a celebration of accomplishment, of success. It is a time for students, faculty, family, and friends to remember, to reflect, and to anticipate the future as these degree candidates soon become alumni as graduates and commence a new life. The graduating senior selected to deliver the valedictory address today is Andrea Shyrick. She will receive a Bachelor of Arts degree from the College of Liberal Arts and Education. Her major is psychology with a minor in art. Ms. Shyrick is a member of the Phi Kappa Phi Honor Society. She is multicultural chair for the Student Activities Board and co-facilitator of a sexual assault group with family advocates here in Platteville. Her academic and service honors include the Psychology Faculty Award, the Multicultural Services Mushroom Award, and being named to the Dean's List. Ms. Shyrick is an active member of many services organizations, including Residence Hall Council, the Psychology Club, and Women's Council. She has volunteered her services to the Special Olympics and has helped with publicity for Badger Camp. Ms. Shyrick participated in UW-P's Study Abroad program last spring at Thames Valley University in London. She then backpacked in Europe and returned to her summer employment as a counselor for 80 children at Hoofbeat Ridge Summer Camp. Ms. Andrea Shyrick.
The honor I felt of being chosen commencement speaker soon wore off as I realized that everyone hates these things. I know commencement speeches are long and boring with cliched pieces of fluff that talk of memories and graduation and always say absolutely nothing. Ironically, this speech is supposed to represent you, but it's by someone that you don't even know. Now, I may mention goals, but I won't preach. And I may mention success, but I'll give no advice. And I might even mention aspirations, but I won't waste your time with condescending words of roses, because this speech is about changes. The change in you, the change in me, and the change in us. Changes. But no matter what changes we make, we should always share our experiences and embrace the ideas of others. That is why this speech is not only dedicated to all the commencement speaker finalists, but it is also a compilation of their input, wisdom, and unselfish ideas. Changes. Changes in the past. Changes in the present. Changes in the future. The past. A history major, Deirdre Weber, remembers a Ziggy cartoon she once saw with a caption that read, "In the great playground of life, you can't swing alone." None of us have been out there swinging alone. We've been motivated by professors, friends, and family members. But perhaps the greatest motivation of all has often come from the negative comments and treatment from those who thought we wouldn't achieve it all. Well, we showed them, didn't we? Jeff Grunberger, a civil engineering major, felt that the only way we ever failed was when we never tried. Each triumph made us work a little harder, and each failure made us grow a little stronger. But more than anything, we changed. Today, we sit here, minds wandering, some not even listening to this speech. Thoughts are on families, friends, jobs we have just obtained, or perhaps we're thinking of ways to hurt the senders of our latest rejection letters. We sit here, excited, anxious, waiting. We sit here. And even as we sit here, the university is also taking on new challenges. Gary Kamen, a business major, got his degree solely through the extended degree program. He told me that UW-Platteville is a leader in distance learning. A chemistry criminal justice major, Richard Simon, told me that when he was hunting for a job, he found that the reputation of Platteville's quality is known throughout many states. Yes, we sit here sharing different wants, different needs, different lives, but most of all, today, we are changing. But what about tomorrow? Tomorrow. I'm not about to pretend to know what the future brings. So let's just share today. Christopher Bear, a civil engineering major, wanted us to never lose sight of our goals, even when everyday life wears us down. Everyone knows that what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. Some of us may go on to be award-winning public relation experts and psychologists, six-figured engineers and lawyers, nationally recognized broadcasters and agriculturalists. But I think that Barb Knox, a biology geography major, has the last word on success. She says that success should be interpreted in different ways. I think we can all remember a time when a friend in need took priority over a test that needed to be studied for. That's a different way, and that too is success. All of us will continue to learn, laugh, cry, and love. But most of all, when we walk out of those doors, we will be changing.
Thank you very much, Andrea. As you may not know, there is a protocol on this campus that the valedictory speaker meets with the chancellor prior to giving the address. I'm not sure yet why, because their advice to me at this stage in their life with us is probably more important than the advice I can give to them. But as she and I talked, and we've known each other since I came, I said to her that the best address that you can give to the students will be one from the heart and from the soul, and you did that. Thank you very much. It is now my pleasure to introduce William J. McCoshen, Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Development. Secretary McCoshen is a native of Superior. He completed a bachelor's degree in political science at the University of Wisconsin-Madison in 1987. The following year, he became Governor Thompson's policy advisor for welfare reform and social services programs, and in 1989 was promoted to legislative liaison. He left the executive office in 1990 to serve as communications director for the governor's successful re-election campaign. He returned to the executive office as director of policy, and in 1991 was named executive assistant to the governor. Governor Thompson appointed Mr. McCoshen his chief of staff in 1992. He managed 35 staff members and coordinated 2 satellite offices while advising the governor on all major issues and developing political and legislative strategy. He left that position in 1994 to manage Governor Thompson's re-election. Following the successful campaign, Governor Thompson appointed Mr. McCoshen Secretary of the Wisconsin Department of Development. He and his wife, Carol, and their 4-year-old son, Patrick, and 2-week-old daughter, Reagan, live in Fitchburg. It is a delight for me this afternoon to present Mr. McCoshen, who is not that far removed from the generation of these graduates, and his remarks will be to you and will give you a message of hope and promise. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much, Chancellor. I can tell you there's one other good thing about speeches that you may have said to Andrea, and I can, by the looks of people fanning themselves here, it's going to be brevity today, so I will try and keep my remarks short. I want to thank you, Chancellor, for inviting me, to the alumni, to faculty, to regents, parents, honored guests, and to you, the graduates. It's truly an honor for me to be here today for UW-Platteville's 154th commencement ceremony. Well, graduates, guess what? It's over. It's an exciting day for you. You have every right to be proud of the accomplishment you've just made, and to take pride in graduating from one of the finest university systems in this country, the University of Wisconsin, and one of the finest universities within that system, UW-Platteville. I have to admit, when the chancellor wrote me about 6 weeks ago and asked me if I would do this address, I couldn't quite figure out why he selected me. I'm the son of a deceased refinery worker and a homemaker. I'm the 7th of 8 kids. My mom and my brothers and sisters still call me Billy. I grew up in Superior, Wisconsin, which is about as far from Platteville as you can get. I spent the semester after my dad passed away on academic probation. I graduated from UW-Madison just 7.5 short years ago with a not so impressive 2.5% grade point average. Well, after going down those facts, it became very clear to me that all the other commencement speakers must have turned you down, Chancellor. Well, my next step was to figure out what I would say. This is a pretty big crowd. It's kind of hot in here. I'm a little nervous. So I thought, well, why don't I think back to what my commencement speaker said 7.5 years ago? And I couldn't remember the foggiest thing about what that person said, let alone who they were. So I called my brother in California who graduated from Stout just a year ago. I said, do you remember who your speaker was and what they said? He said, are you kidding me? So I brought my special assistant, George Clate, who graduated from Stevens Point just 5 months ago in December. Same thing. Couldn't remember a word that their commencement speaker had said. So, well, hopefully, I'm going to say a few memorable things today, and if nothing else, you remember you had this young guy who came up from Madison that gave your speech. Well, when I sat in your position 7 years ago, I thought to myself, God, now what am I going to do? I was $12,000 in debt, I didn't have a job lined up, and my head was pounding from the night before. Guess what, graduates? Welcome to reality. There is no syllabus to tell you what you'll have to do or when it'll need to be done. And there are definitely no answers in the back of life's book. Yeah, you get to determine where you go from here. The choices aren't always black and white, and they aren't always easy. But you really do control your own destiny. Well, back in '87, after a month at home and my mom I think I had worn out my welcome with my mother, I decided it was time to get my act together. I landed a job in the Capitol working for a state senator from Green Bay. After a short period of time, I figured out that probably was not going to be the best fit for me. So I took a job as a driver with Steve King's U.S. Senate campaign back in 1988. Some of you may or may not remember that name. The job paid $1,000 a month, but I didn't care because I thought this was my chance to get noticed. If I do the right things, work hard, pay attention to details, somebody's going to notice me. I knew the guy was a long shot, but that wasn't why I did it. I did it for the opportunity. By the end of that summer, the campaign had increased my salary to $1,500 a month, and I was in charge of issue development and scheduling. Considering the hours I put in, it probably worked out to something like 75 cents an hour I was making. On primary election day, we got killed. 60-40, Susan Ingelater beat us, and I was out of work again. This is all within the first year of graduation. The campaign couldn't pay my last month's salary, so I missed a couple of car payments. I had to ask one of my sisters who lived in Madison at the time if I could borrow some money to pay my rent. So what did I gain? I put 30,000 miles on my car in 6 months. My credit rating was shot. I couldn't pay my bills. My girlfriend had dumped me because I was on the road all the time. And we lost. What did I get out of that? Well, within 48 hours, I had several job opportunities to join other campaigns. Ultimately, I decided to go with the Republican Party and join their field staff up in Green Bay, Wisconsin. The pay wasn't any better than the last campaign, but at least they paid. I lived in the Bay Motel, 6 blocks from Lambeau Field for the last 8 weeks of the 1988 election cycle. Now, if any of you have ever been to Green Bay, to the Bay Motel, you know it's not exactly the Hilton. My mother would call me. Well, she called me 2 times there and then refused to do it ever again. She called me and said, Billy, get a life. Go back to school and get a law degree. Give up that politics stuff. I said, Mom, trust me. This is going to work out. I have to pay my dues. Just like my brothers and sisters in their profession, I had to pay my dues. So she let me go on. And on election day came and went. That night was pretty special for me. I did get noticed, just like I thought I would. Tommy Thompson, the governor of the state of Wisconsin, had come to Green Bay about twice a week during that election cycle, and I'd set up his events. Sooner or later, he started asking people, who's the kid? And I got to chatting with him, we got to know each other, and by golly, on election day, if he didn't offer me a job, and I've been with him ever since. Wasn't the best pay to start with. Many of you are going to make a lot more than I did. It was $22,000. But the fact was he was willing to take a chance on me. He hired me for a spot, as the chancellor pointed out, policy advisor on health and social services issues. I didn't know the first thing about those. And he knew that, but he was willing to take a chance on me and give me the opportunity to grow into that position. Fortunately, for him and I did. That was really the day I boarded my rocket ship, and I haven't stopped climbing yet. I only tell you that story because I think there are some lessons that I learned along the way that could be helpful for you in the years ahead. I believe there's a very simple formula for success. Those who go the furthest are the ones who are willing to make sacrifices and to take risks. You can't be afraid to take chances. If I hadn't taken some chances, I probably would still be working for that same state senator from Green Bay. In fact, two of the people that I worked with back in 1988 are still there. Not degrading what they're doing, but I had higher aspirations than that. I took another chance in 1990 when I left the governor's office to work on his re-election campaign. I determined that politics was a lot like the military. The best way to get noticed was to go into battle. That's the only way you really can earn your stripes and move up the ladder. So I went on the governor's 1990 re-election campaign. I wanted to be on the inside, working, making things happen, instead of on the outside looking in, like so many of the people I graduated with had done. I didn't want to be the same way. I also got married in 1990, right in the middle of the campaign, and Tommy Thompson gave me a 24-hour honeymoon. Our wedding reception ended at midnight on Saturday night, and I had to report to work at 7:30 Monday morning, so it was really quite an event. The fun part about that, now, it was embarrassing then, was my wife actually had to sign for the loan to get her wedding ring. Can you imagine my humiliation when I said to her, honey, will you marry me? And oh, by the way, will you take out the loan to buy your ring? Well, we're still together 5 years later. Unfortunately, professionally, that's when things really started to take off for me. After that victory, I came back to the office as the governor's policy director. I was 25 at the time, not too far from the age you are. Within 20 months, I became the second youngest chief of staff in the state's history, and the youngest of any governor in the country at that time. I was really proud of my accomplishments because I knew I had done them myself. I didn't get to where I got because my parents were influential Republicans or big contributors to Tommy Thompson. My dad had passed away by then. My mother had to take another job after my dad died. I got that far, that fast, because of the work I put in. And I think you can get there too if you want it. I really do. 1994, I had another opportunity. I could stay in the governor's office, or I could sign up for military duty again and go on the campaign. I chose to go back on the campaign trail. It was a sacrifice for my wife and, at the time, my 3-year-old son, Patrick. It meant longer hours than I had put in the governor's office, but I knew in the end it was going to pay off. I knew I had an opportunity to elect a guy to the third 4-year term, which no one in the state had ever been done. It was quite a challenge. It wasn't so much, although I support everything Tommy Thompson stands for, it wasn't just about him, it was about the challenge for me. That was a great professional challenge for me, and fortunately, I think you've recognized by my standing here today, we were successful. We won on Election Day with the second highest margin in state history, something I'll always be proud of. But after that, I thought that would be the point where I'd get out of politics and get a real job. I had a great opportunity lined up with a major company in the Madison area. And the governor asked me if I would consider heading up the Department of Development. Again, the challenge was too good to pass up. I got to be the youngest cabinet secretary in state history. But truthfully, I don't spend a lot of time worrying or fretting over my age. If you spend all your time, whether you're too young or too old for your position, you don't have enough time left to focus on being successful in that position. A great hockey player was once asked, "What's it like to play against Wayne Gretzky?" His response was, "I can't worry about who I'm playing against. I just have to go out there and play the best game I can." It's pretty good advice. Worked for me, and I know it can work for you in the future as well. I can tell you today that the old saying, "you don't get something for nothing," is very true. Not all of you are going to walk out of here and start with a $30,000 or maybe better a year job. Like me, many of you will leave today with a degree in one hand and a major debt in the other. And many of you may not have the slightest idea what you're going to do on Monday. Fortunately for me, I've known since I was 14 that I wanted to get into politics. I just wasn't quite sure how I would get there. I got a break, and I made the most of that opportunity. You know, I told my dad 3 hours before he died, I said, "Dad, you can't die. You have to come and see me in the governor's mansion." Well, that was the last thing I ever said to him. You know, but I'm not going to give up that dream. That's something I hold dear to me, inside me. It may never come to reality, but it's something I'm going to continue to pursue as long as I'm on this earth. And whatever dream you have today, don't give it up. Don't let adversity get in your way. There will be obstacles over the course of the next months and years, but don't let them get you down. Always remember in your heart what it is you really want to do and pursue it until you get there. Set reasonable goals for yourself and keep pursuing them until you get there. I could never have planned or even guessed 7.5 years ago what my life would have been like. But I ask you today, set reasonable goals, adjust them as you go along. That way you'll never be disappointed. Keep any success you obtain in perspective. There's a very, very fine line between being confident in your abilities and being cocky. I can tell you today, from a lot of experience, being cocky does not work in the business world. You can be confident, cocky does not work. Be happy with yourself, no matter what you end up doing. Always strive to be the best, whether you're an engineer, a farmer, a teacher, a housewife, or a salesman. Take pride in what you do every single day. And don't worry about the memories you're leaving behind, because believe me, there'll be more. The fun you had at Orville Tees or at the factory or as part of the 1994 National Champion Pioneers basketball team are really only the beginning. There isn't any college memory I have that can compete with watching the birth of my 2 children or some of the professional success I've enjoyed in the last 7.5 years. Cherish the memories you have from Platteville, but don't let those memories paralyze you from going into the future. Make the most of every opportunity you have. What worked for me, or even the person sitting next to you today, may not work for you. Determine what's the best course for you to take and then pursue it. Try and get yourself into a professional situation where your boss doesn't care how old you are, only what kind of job you can do. And when you get into management, remember, don't turn your back on young people like me, like yourselves. Give them the same opportunities that you want, because you never know, someday they may be your boss. I want to congratulate you. This is a tremendous honor for me. Have a great day. Be careful. I know it's probably going to happen after this. Be careful. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Secretary McCoshen. Each year, our Faculty and Alumni Association recognize alumni who have brought honor to this university. Since our alumni includes winners of Nobel and Pulitzer Prizes, members of the U.S. Congress, and presidents of major corporations, the choices are never easy. We are honoring 4 of our alumni today as models for today's graduating class, and in recognition of the achievements and contributions made by all of the men and women who have received degrees from this university. Biographies of the honorees are in your commencement program. It is my pleasure to recognize, and if each one will stand, Dr. Nancy Andrews, Director of Endocrinology Fellowship Program at the Bi-County Community and Riverview Hospitals in Warren, Michigan, graduated from UW-P in 1974 with majors in chemistry and biology. Dr. James Lawton, a physician and surgeon at the Berwyn Medical Center in Berwyn, Illinois, is a 1967 UW-P graduate. Jerry Marty, Director of Operations and Maintenance for the National Science Foundation's U.S. Antarctic Program, is a 1969 graduate. Lyle Novinsky, professor and chair of the art department at the University of Dallas, completed a BS in English and Industrial Arts in 1956. Our congratulations and appreciation to each of you for the accomplishments which have brought honors to you and to your alma mater. We have a luncheon that is a part of the commencement activities to recognize these individuals, and I wish all of the students, and especially the parents, could have been there to listen to these alums talk about the experiences that they had with this group of people who sit in the front two rows, the faculty of the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I want to say that these events are extremely important in terms of reminding those of us in this university community that our most important asset base is the faculty. And as each of these distinguished alums celebrated this experience, you need to know that many of you were celebrated in their remarks and in their hearts, and for that I'm appreciative. Mr. Dennis Pratt, President of the UW-Platteville Alumni Association, will now announce the awards of Alumni Life memberships. Mr. Pratt.
Thank you, Chancellor. Graduates, on behalf of the UW-Platteville Alumni Association, it is indeed my pleasure to congratulate you and your families on your graduation today. As part of this congratulations, I have been instructed by the Alumni Association Board of Directors to award each graduate a complimentary one-year membership in the UW-Platteville Alumni Association. It is our hope that 1 year from now you will decide to permanently join the Alumni Association in support of UW-Platteville. The Alumni Association also traditionally recognizes several graduates for their outstanding academic, campus, personal, and professional achievements by awarding them honorary lifetime memberships in the association. This year we have awarded 6 such awards. As I introduce them alphabetically, I would ask that you please hold your applause until they have all been introduced. I would ask that the recipients to please stand and remain standing as they are introduced. Barbara Knox from Platteville, Wisconsin, with a major in biology and geography. Matthew Kupperman, Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, with a major in electrical engineering. Laura Laufenberg, Rock Falls, Illinois, with a major in psychology. Sarah Walter, Darlington, Wisconsin, with a major in agribusiness and marketing. Jamie Weber, Platteville, Wisconsin, with a major in electrical engineering. Jennifer Zell, Whitewater, Wisconsin, with a major in elementary educations. Congratulations to each of you and best success.
We're extremely proud of all of our graduates and will shortly recognize each of them. However, I would like to give special recognition to a group who have distinguished themselves throughout their academic careers. The undergraduate students graduating with academic honors are designated with asterisks in the commencement program and are wearing gold honor stoles. Will those individuals who have achieved highest honors and are graduating summa cum laude please rise and remain standing? These students have earned a cumulative grade point average from 3.75 to a perfect 4.0. Will those students who have achieved honors and are graduating magna cum laude please rise and remain standing? These students have earned cumulative grade point averages from 3.5 to 3.74. please join me in recognizing the accomplishments of this very special group of graduates. Now, will all the candidates for the bachelor's and master's degrees please rise? Mr. Chancellor, as Provost, I certify that the candidates standing before you have completed the curricula prescribed by the university faculty for the degrees of Master of Science in Education, Agricultural Industries, or Industrial Technology Management, or the degrees of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science, and are entitled to receive their degrees from the University of Wisconsin-Platteville. I therefore recommend that these candidates be granted the appropriate diploma for the curricula completed.
Upon this certification by the Provost that you have completed the requirements established by the university faculty for the various degrees, and with the authority vested in me by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System, I am pleased to confer upon you the degree which you have earned, together with all the rights and privileges attending thereto. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the deans now present the degree recipients?
Will the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science from the College of Business, Industry, Life Science, and Agriculture please stand? Mr. Chancellor, as Dean of the College of Business, Industry, Life Science, and Agriculture, and representing the college faculty, I present to you the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science from the College of Business, Industry, Life Science, and Agriculture. Will the recipients please come forward?
Amy J. Weisenberger. Adam Ryan Norlander. Sue Ann Abbing. Jeffrey David Adams. Sharon Joy Alfano. Roy William Anding. Dennis Joseph Anthony. Chad Joseph Argel. William W. Byer. Carol Barrigas. Jennifer Lee Bauer. Sherry Lynn Beard. Daryl D. Byer. Elizabeth Chanel Bell. Scott A. Benson. Jennifer Lee Berthel. Jennifer Mary Biba. Kurt Russell Boehm. Jeffrey Wayne Bolton. Erica Jean Box. Garrett L. Bradley. Jeffrey J. Brandt. Michael Lewis Bruning. Timothy Leroy Britton. Thomas Michael Brooks. Jason Richard Brown. Dale L. Buckholz. Michael John Beekner. Heidi Jo Teresa Birds. Jason Michael Berkey. Nora Ann Burns. David James Busan. Jennifer G. Carley. Dennis L. Carpenter. Susan Eileen Champion. Michael Robert Chase. Dawn Marie Collins. Sherry Ann Conley. Robert M. Cooper. Thomas William Covert. Chris R. Daly. Andrew S. Davidson. Scott David Dick. John Gordon Dimple. Martin Luther Dixon. Mark Andrew Dom. Timothy John Doherty. Ted James Druckery. Angela Violet Durst. William J. Ederer. Amy Catherine Eichelberger. Mark Sidney Ellingsberg. Christopher M. Elliott. Chris Eric Emery. Ian James Amon. Robert James Feek III. David William Fisher. Jeannie Marie Fogg. Andrea Lynn Freund. Jason Gregory Freund. Henry L. Fursith. Susanna Marie Gobble. Brian John Garvin. Todd Lance Gorder. John C. Graff IV. Ryan A. Graney. Teresa M. Grenke. Jody Lynn Gunn. Britta Hansen. Michael C. Hansen. Jane Jennifer Hartwig. Holly Hauser. Christina Alice Hudzinski. Christine Sue Henry. Christopher John Herb. Daniel Howard Hosley. Anthony J. Hubble. Michelle K. Hughes. Kristen Lynn Hull. Brian N. Huza. Jennifer Gentink. Reed C. Johnson. Albert Joseph Kalina. Gary R. Kamen. Daniel F. Kasdorf. Norman Keene, Jr. Bradley Lawrence Keys. Robert S. Kim. Jennifer Louise Kinch. James A. Klein. Kurt D. Cluck. Barbara Lou Knox. Kimberly J. Knutson. Rosemary Louise Conan. Patrick Allen Kranz. Scott J. Keeper. Eric R. Cools. Tanya Marie Labar. Dave Jack Lancaster. Jamie J. Lars. Tyrone Richard Larson. Jarrett Everett Litticoat. Gregory J. Laurie. Mowbray Vincent Lubasi. Connie Sue Lujak. Larry P. Maddock. Michael B. Marty. Chuck Allen Markham. Scott A. Maynard. Kenneth William McIntyre. Travis Reed Mashik. Matthew Robert McCourt. Patrick D. McGuire. Becky Lynn McBride. John Charles Malinowski. Tracy Ann McFall. Robert K. Mason. Kelly Joe McQuaid. Jean Ann Merkel. Jeffrey August Meskey. Brenda Lee Meyer. Denise L. Meyer. Gregory John Michek. Ryan Joseph Murphy. Brian Daniel Myers. Jeffrey David Neighbor. Gregory Hogan Knacker. Gary Michael Nichols. Paula A. Nice. Kevin J. O'Connor. Daniel Carl Olson. Monty Chris Olszewski. Matthew John Otto. Laura L. Oxley. Robert Thomas Pankratz. Robert J. Parrish. Wade Joseph Pekarski. Donald E. Peterson. Robert Michael Pulse. Robert R. Porteous. Chad M. Prevey. Jennifer J. Prochnow. Jason Terry Remacher. Sherman Dean Rashine. Robin Lynn Reinman. Stephen D. Richter. Andrew Thomas Rothschadel. Ryan Curtis Rummel. Ryan D. Schaefer. Jennifer Addie Schaub. Brian William Schneider. Jason Gregory Schneider. Scott Christopher Seeley. Mark J. Schimmick. Michael Stephen Scherer. Laura Jean Schilliam. Marilyn Ann Shin. Michelle Lynn Seidschlag. Randy J. Siegel. Krista Lynn Slayton. Stephen Anderson Solomon. Timothy R. Stoffaker. Elliot Lee Stefanik. Eric Stephan. Todd Maurice Strang. Julia May Storent. Jeff J. Suave. Jim Ray Taylor. Jennifer Ellen Tubert. Lee Tao. Jennifer Ann Thompson. Ted J. Tierney. Kyle William Timmer. Brian Richard Timmerman. Laura Jane Timmerman. Keith William Tremblay. Patrick Gerald Udelhoven. Sheila L. Udelhoven. Robert John Ullman. William Harry Vanden Noven. Dan G. Vervelde. Richard Robert Volz. Wayne W. Vosberg. David John Wagner. Dana Maria Wagner Straka. Sarah J. Walter. Deanne Marie Wandemacher. Jennifer Kristen Ward. Elizabeth Ann Warnamunde. Tracy L. Watrud. Ronald Wayne Wells, Jr. Brian C. Westman. Sean Joseph Wheeler. Philip Todd Wolf.
Congratulations on achieving this important goal. We wish you continued success in achieving your future goals. Please be seated.
Will the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science from the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science please stand? Mr. Chancellor, as Dean of the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science, and representing the college faculty, I present to you the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Science from the College of Engineering, Mathematics, and Science. Will the recipients please come forward?
Matthew Paul Kupperman. James Daniel Weber. Allison Marie Ahrens. Jason Matthew Ackman. David L. Anderson. Charles J. Anderson. Brett Marshall Barnard. Bart Andrew Bashinsky. Casper Anthony Bashinsky. Kevin Allen Bishel. Michael William Bork. Sandra M. Brantner. Brett Gerald Bruckner. Marcus David Bunau. Andrew William Burt. Todd H. Butler. Kristen L. Cadwell. Randy William Casper. Kyle Norman Christensen. Adam Cox. Douglas Blaine Curry. Juan C. Navalle. Kirk John Dempsey. Eric Gerald Dickinson. Michael Maurice Eggle. Scott Allen Ernst. Kevin D. Fease. Jeffrey A. Fisher. Michael H. Fisher. Christopher J. Fisher. Joel Leonard Foss. Matthew John Faust. Bradford Jean Fry. Jaron K. Geller. Peter John Gilbertson. Theodore James Gorski. Edward Scott Grabins. Warren A. Graham, Jeffrey Lawrence Gruenberger, Todd Allen Halvensleben, Shannon Hannes Grubb, Clint Arthur Hansen, Gabriel Scott Harmelink, Garrett James Haupt, Timothy John Hireman, Nicholas J. Huffman, Alan F. Howe, Robert Edward Jelinek, Kyle W. Johnson, Jennifer Lee Jones, David Michael Kettle, Scott F. Kiefer, Timothy Gerald Cook, Brian D. Kaler, Thomas William Keppen, Jr., Kurt Duane Kohler, Matthew Van Dyke Kotvis, Jeremy Francis Crotchy, Kyle Ivan Kubista, Heath Brian Comro, Thomas Robert Laufenberg, Matthew W. Lukic, Joseph H. Luniak, Leslie F. Mayman, Jr., John Robert McDonald, Brian Allen Meyer, Jason Edward Miller, Aaron Charles Mix, Cynthia Ann Neitzel, Timothy E. O'Connell, Alyssa Diane Olkey, Damon C. Oath, Asagi Atsuka, Christopher Scott Oystersek, Nicholas Brian Paschke, Julia Marie Patterson, Ryan James Pfaff, Michael David Pitzel, Jill Susan Ponto, Steve T. Popke, Doris Ann Pulvermacher, Mark Davin Perkel, Don J. Quinn, Craig Daniel Raleigh, Robert Patrick Reagan, Brian Joseph Renzelman, Craig Robert Robel, Jeffrey Gerald Schleiss, Ryan F. Schmidt, Michael James Schmidt, Jeffrey Todd Schultz, Brian D. Seeley, Jody Ann Semro. Joseph Thomas Schell. William Thomas Siebers. Richard Edward Simon. Christopher J. Stieber. Secret Teresa Strobel. Brian John Thomas. Randall John Tolman. Ursula Ann Town. William Floyd Troutman. Robert S. Truck. Thomas Robert Turchi. Peter Aaron Van Frechen. Brad J. Van Schindel. Robert Scott Weigel. David Scott Welch. Mark A. Weiser. Cynthia M. Wisco. Anthony Jerome Wolf. Jeffrey O. Zur.
Again, my congratulations to all of you. Remember that this is a commencement, that your real life has just begun. Will you please be seated?
Will the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science from the College of Liberal Arts and Education please stand? Mr. Chancellor, as Dean of the College of Liberal Arts and Education, and representing the college faculty, I present to you the recipients of the degree of Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science from the College of Liberal Arts and Education. Will the recipients please come forward?
Andrea M. Schirik. Deirdre Ann Kaya Weber. Laura Ellen Laufenberg. Shelley Ann Fail. Catherine Mary Adametz. William Robert Altman. Shane Michael Apple. Valerie Jean Barton. Benjamin John Bauman. Daniel A. Beckius. Robin Lynn Bellmeyer. Curtis J. Biserick. Kelly Sue Blaybaum. James H. Babel. Brian Robert Bradley. Lisa A. Breed. Chad Michael Broren. Jeremy Scott Brown. Ross Allen Bubbles. Leah Marie Bunbury. Nicole Marie Burlage. James M. Card. Amy J. Cardy. Matthew William Coburn. Robin B. Cohen. Deborah Lynn Crabtree. Kristen Marie Gravellion. April Dawn Cullum. Daniel James Daly. Kelly Marie Dozer. Kenneth Lee Downey. Nathan Ronald Dreckman. Jason A. Edge. Shelley Joan Engel. Gregory James Enns. Brian David Farrar. Thomas James Finnegan. Anthony John Fiore. Kimberly Ann Foch. Gregory Glenn Gard. Sandra J. G. Andrew O. Farrar. Jill Marie Gonzalez. Jennifer May Gray. Lance J. Gurney. Callie Jean Haig. Justin Charles Hannigan. Carl M. Hanneman. Michelle L. Heatherly. Cricket Hebel. Judith R. Heggested, Maine. Jason Scott Hintz. Diane L. Jepson. Baron James Johnson. Andrew Earl Jones. Valerie Ann Kapernick. Peggy Joanne Keeler. Sean Marie Keeler. Richard Lee Kroll, Jr. Paula M. Keeker. Tiffany Ann Lancaster. Terry J. Lang. Tricia Renee Lang. Mary Ellen Lodge. Rebecca Lynn Lawrence. Sarah Ann Lemke. Stephen F. Lee. Dimitri Alexander Martin. Wendy Ann Matthews. Brian T. McAndrews. Joni Starlane McNeil. Andrea Lynn McVeigh. Daniel D. Miller. Darcy May Moon. Michael Gregory Moon. Anita Maria Moore. Gina Marie Moorshead. William D. Morris. Sandra L. Nisus. Susan Marie Niehaus. Anna Louise Niemeyer. Sean Edward Oligny. Danielle Marie Osterday. Mark Anthony Parma. Angela Carlene Peterson. Tracy Lynn Pickerel. Susan McGregor Porter. Melanie Ray Powell. Alan P. Rosick. Christine Marie Rath. Jane Sue Redmond. Timothy Allen Reinke. Lynn M. Richard. Rob L. Richard. Teresa Jane Riley. Melissa B. Roberts. Eric John Raker. Amy Beth Schultz. Jennifer Marie Schultz. Ronald Joseph Sedgwick. Jill C. Shackleton. Christopher John Smith. Jennifer Krista Smythe. A.J. Sobaki. Amy Jennifer Spillane Pepich. Joseph Paul St. Amand. Rose Ann Stanek Tiedemann. John William Summers. Renee Lynn Swanda. Raymond T. Simons. Calvin Edward Taylor. Tina M. Terfructi. Chu Lee Tao. Joanne E. Tinberg Leopold. Mary Lynn Trum. Chad Jason Tischer. Thomas Harold Vanden Avond. Michelle Sharon Van Meter. Melissa J. Vesperman. Stephen James Vogelsberg. Rochelle Lee Vogt. Tina Marie Ward. Jamie John Washtuck. Jennifer Ann Wenholz. Robert Gene Wire. Timothy J. Wegman. Darcy Renee Willis. Lynn Ann Wolf. Jennifer Marie Zell. Tanya Renee Zempel. Kenneth Allen Ziegler. Paul Robert Zills.
Congratulations and best wishes to each of you. Please be seated.
Will the recipients of the master's degree please stand? Mr. Chancellor, as Dean of the School of Graduate Studies and representing the graduate faculty, I present to you the recipients of the degrees of Master of Science and Master of Science in Education from the School of Graduate Studies. Will the recipients please come forward?
Matthew P. Flynn. Beth Abbing. T.J. Sedgwick. Scott D. Argetsinger. Elizabeth M. Betzer. Kimberly Ann Brown. Ethel Lesance Doyle. Heidi Sue Edwards. Deborah L. Ayler. Zinda Dills Ertz. Patricia Habeck. Fatima Hajabdadali Bazaz. Jane Marie Jelinek. Kelly D. Kelbeck. Marilyn Diane Kepler. Susan Klein Kennedy. Sherry M. Klitsky. Diane M. Langmeyer. Beth Ellen Linden. Amy Jo Mauser. Kelly Renee Morris. Mary Teresa Maluli. Fern Ellen Nall. Rebecca Heitzman Peters. Charlotte M. Peterson. Diane M. Pickle. Susan Jean Rady. Craig L. Shaw. Bradley William Sherwin. Mary Zims Smith. Paula A. Unbaham.
Congratulations. Please be seated.
In 1990, the Wisconsin Power and Light Company established an award in honor of James R. Underkoffler, retired president and chairman of the board of WP&L. Dr. Dwight Clausen is UWP's fourth faculty member to receive this prestigious recognition of outstanding teaching accomplishments. Dr. Clausen, please stand and accept our recognition and congratulations. I know this has also been a very special day for you, as you have heard some of our distinguished alums reflect back on the quality of the teaching and mentoring that you did when they were here, and I'm glad that that tradition has continued. Thank you very much. This ceremony would not have been possible without the time and effort generously given by a number of groups and individuals. The members of the Commencement Committee are listed in your program. Charles Collins, a distinguished member of our faculty, served as Commencement Marshal. The names of the graduates were read by Ed Deneen, University Registrar. The University Student Ambassadors distributed programs and organized seatings for audience members. Lead singer Tracy Pickerel, conductor G. Daniel Fairchild, and the Wind Ensemble deserve our appreciation for the music accompanying today's ceremony. As we say farewell to our graduates, I would like them to give an opportunity to recognize those who have guided them through their university life with gentle prodding and friendly assistance. Faculty are the heart and soul of the Academy. It is the faculty who challenge and mentor and bring life to the learning process. Faculty colleagues, many of these students have told me again and again that you are outstanding, that you're caring, patient, and helpful. Will the faculty please rise and be recognized by these graduates? Today, we especially recognize the dedicated and exemplary service of 5 of our colleagues who plan to retire from their faculty and administrative positions this year. Will each of you who is present please rise and remain standing until everyone's name is read. Please reserve your applause until each is introduced. Dr. Dewar, Professor in Department of Agricultural Sciences. Dr. Fatzinger, Professor of Geography and Geology. Mr. Lofi, Professor of Electrical Engineering. Dr. Ornstein, Associate Professor of Foreign Languages. Mr. Schreiber, Director of Purchasing. Thank you very much. There are others who have provided not only encouragement, but moral support and financial assistance, but care and love as well. Will those parents, grandparents, husbands or wives, children and grandchildren, aunts and uncles, and cousins of the graduates please stand and be recognized? Please turn to the last page of your program, and please stand and join Tracy Pickerel in singing our alma mater.
Yeah.
Please be seated. The commencement ceremony has been videotaped and will be televised once tonight beginning at 7 p.m. on cable channel TV5. Please remain seated until the faculty have left the gymnasium. The graduates will remain to greet their parents, relatives, friends, and thank you all for coming to participate in this celebration today.